My response to that would be both of our personalities, we like to do things our way. But we also are very aware that ego and greed would be our biggest downfall. So we really hold on to needing to be right or wanting to be right too much. So I think the thing we've done really well so far, and we continue to do, is just we always look for what's right. So if it's my idea, Kevin's idea, someone else is on the team, we welcome disagreements and we love to argue with each other because we get better outcomes from it all. I think the thing we do really well is we just look for what makes sense and what seems right versus, oh, I need to hold on to this opinion because it was my own.
So is there a process? Is there a process to a disagreement?
There's just a lot, honestly, I've always wondered that too. It's really,
organic.
There's really not, it's very organic. And I think to Matt's point, like we encourage principled disagreement amongst the team, I think the magic kind of happens in the middle of that. And it just, I think it's from our athletic background, just it being kind of innate and growth in us. And it's kind of transferred and come through it being too.
Well, that gets back to what I was actually thinking is that, of course, I've known you guys for years and, I would call us friends. But I don't know how you guys met.
About 10 years ago. So we went to Boston College together. Kevin played baseball at BC. I played hockey at BC, and I guess we had a few classes together. We joke, I think there's a few professors that would find it.
We have we can't tell you the story, but.
Why not? It's just us.
Because it's really embarrassing. Because some of our other investors might listen to this, and that could be the end. I'll just put it to you like this: we did a very, 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 very poor job in front of a group of people in a group project, and I've done a lot of embarrassing things in my life, and that still is top of the list for most mortifying, I'd say.
Was it? So you connected on this very embarrassing thing, or you did it together?
Yeah, I guess this really is how we really met. I mean, we've seen each other just, in the athletic weight room, in the locker room, stuff like that.
We were really friends, though, in college very much.
Yeah, but somehow we wound up in a marketing class together. We ended up in a group together. So there's a few of my teammates, a couple of Kevin's teammates. We were entering playoffs. Their season was just starting. So they were traveling up and down the coast. We were, heading to the final stretch of our season. This project really wasn't top of mind for either of us. And the whole semester, the whole thing was based on helping a business with whatever it is. I think we got paired up with an insurance company, and we were supposed to just essentially be like free interns. We never communicated at all to that company. And we showed up on the presentation day and we played a clip from an office.
Well, remember, hold on. One guy on the baseball team, we met the night before. He's just like, okay, I got this. I know what we're going to do. Like, oh, great. I thought I was going to be here for a few hours cramming for this. So we show up and he plays a video clip of The Office, and there's like 4 or 5 of us. And we this is like a marketing, stadium seating in the class. So he plays a clip of The Office, and it ends and we stare at each other. We're like, all right, are you going to keep talking about how you said you got it? And just nothing. We all just stared at each other, and like that like giggling feeling that you can't control when you're just like totally mortified. It just came over everybody. The whole class just beating down, staring at us, and
that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Now we have a business together.
It was the most. I've never been like. It felt like it was probably a couple hundred eyeballs. It felt like a million.
So you were doing a presentation together.
Yeah. You could call it that.
Got it. And Matt, you played baseball?
Hockey.
I played baseball, and that was my junior year, and I got drafted that year, and I didn't end up coming back for my senior year. I did later in life, graduated, but at that point in my life, I wasn't very concerned about my grades.
Well, you and like every other kid in the world at some points, at least in time.
Yeah.
Probably all depended on if a parent cared about their grades. Because if you left it up to the kid to care about the grades, it's probably few and far between.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Did you guys think that you were going on to be athletes? Is that part of it?
Yeah, that was it for me. I knew I was going to get drafted that year, and I had a pretty good understanding that I wasn't going to come back to school for my senior year right away. So, it was, like I said, it wasn't number one on my list, but it probably wasn't number 2, 3, 4, or 5 either in terms of priorities.
So then what was it about? Because like that was college, right? Yeah. And then, Beam is only 3 or 4 years. How many years has Beam been around? 3?
Really, just about 2.5, coming up on 3.
Coming up on 3.
Yeah. So I'm not judging, but you guys didn't just get out of college.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Young guys, but so like, what happened in college during this presentation that y'all connected on that then led to starting Beam? Was there something did it have to do with supplementation and experimentation within sports as it went along? Did you stay connected? Did you traveling brotherhood of the pants or something? I mean, how did you guys stay connected?
It was kind of just serendipitous. We didn't keep in touch at all. When Kevin left, we both played professionally for a little bit. Wound up out of sports sooner than we were hoping because of injuries, and we just crossed paths in an apartment building in Boston that we just wound up in, bumped into each other at the elevator, and then
Seriously?
Kevin and I just have
Well, I actually had this crazy story. My wife and I, we lived in Austin. She was my girlfriend at the time, then fiance. We moved back to Boston, and we were gone for a long weekend. I won't bore you with the details of the story. I got a call like on a Sunday afternoon that was like, "Hey, there's 2 feet of standing water in your 10 in the apartment on your 10th floor." We had all of our crap was ruined. We had to move out of the apartment immediately, and I moved into that building where Matt was in the Seaport. If that didn't happen, we probably wouldn't be here either.
Yeah, that was a serendipity of it.
Yeah.
And then we just love all things wellness, and we started working out together, and
yeah, and I totally want to ask about that because you both, I mean, Matt, you're more into CrossFit and lifting, and Kevin, you're a little more like endurance and cardio stuff. We did connect on the CrossFit stuff in the very beginning, for sure. In telling me that story, I've had a lot of thoughts about this where the universe just kind of sends you signs all the time, right? And if we pay attention, they're there. And I do think that people stay in our path that are meant to be there. And sometimes there's these near misses where you see them or where you don't see them, but you were at the same place, same time. Like maybe you could have had the story where you lived in the same building, you didn't even know it. But I don't know, something tells me that this kind of was always meant to be because, you know, you had this random presentation in college, you didn't even stay in touch. All of a sudden you see each other in the elevator. And so maybe it wasn't a conscious synchronistic event, or maybe it was. I mean, how did you, what happened when you saw each other after so long of not staying connected? That what did you do when you saw each other?
I think the first thing we did, you were training for an Ironman with Brooke, and we worked out together.
That's a great story too, actually. Yeah, we were. I was training. Brooke and I were training for what was it?
Your wife.
Ironman Yeah, my wife,
Yeah.
Brooke. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Ironman Mont Tremblant, because this was probably like what, 2015,
Yeah.
2015, and we were deep in a very hard training block where you're doing like, I don't know, a lot of hours of cardio on a weekly basis. And one of the workouts, I'm sure you've probably done a fartlek, Danica, where you're doing 5. Have you done those before?
What?
Yeah, 5/4 a fartlek. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting name. It's
I don't fart. I'm a girl.
It's actually it's Swedish for speed play. So it's like a 5-minute effort at like X pace, 2 minutes easy, 4-minute effort at Y pace, 2 minutes, a little bit harder. The effort gets shorter but harder.
I mean, I've done structures like that, but I haven't.
Yeah. So you haven't called it a fartlek though?
No, I just called it interval training.
So we had a big fartlek coming up, and Matt was like, "Hey, I'll join you on this workout." And I remember being like, "Dude, I don't know, with love and respect, I don't know if this is one you want to just like hop in on if you're a big runner."
Was he as buff as he is now?
Totally. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I mean, maybe not quite as big as he is now.
I hadn't gotten into CrossFit yet, so I wasn't.
He wasn't in marathon. He didn't look like a marathon runner. We'll call him that. So he joined me. He hung on for like 90% of it, we'll say. I remember I got back and Brooke and I were like, "Damn, that was like what a savage." That was like, you have to be a freak to be able to deal with that. And
I couldn't do anything for about a month after that.
An impromptu fartlek to
Yeah.
on your knees.
But I think that like cemented, like I think Matt and I, like, you know, a startup is really hard. You know, you just spend your whole day, every week and moment of your day getting kicked in the teeth. And I think like that kind of, for me, was like a good indication of like, all right, this person has like that, either has one or is missing that extra chromosome to be able to do like this craziness, you know?
Yeah. There's always been something just like the bond, I guess, through working out with someone or training. Like, even in hockey, like some of my best relationships have come through the guys, you know, I do extra workouts with.